Hey guys, we're here with René from DB Electronics, writer of the now infamous Flashcart post. René, I'd like to ask you about the article, but please understand that you've upset a lot of people, and I'm going to have to be hard on you. I can't let any questions slide by, and I'm going to need to keep pressing until the community's questions are answered. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfectly fine.
All right, fair warning. First, I got to skip to what a lot of people have been speculating about, and I want real answers. Exactly how much money have you made from posting that blog post?
I have made exactly $0 from that blog post.
I think that's bullshit, because I could actually see ads on your page. They're right on the right side of the page.
Those are my products. That's the stuff I sell.
Oh, I see what's going on here. You wrote those articles to knock out the competition, and those are the set of ROM carts that you sell.
I actually don't sell any ROM carts.
Yeah, you know what? Bullshit. I see a Genesis cartridge right there on the side of the fucking page. What's that then if you don't sell ROM carts?
That's actually a homebrew cart designed to help people release their own games on a physical cartridge.
Not a ROM cart.
No, not a reprogrammable flash cart.
So you're telling me that you wrote not one, but 2 articles on your blog, but don't have any competing products to sell yourself?
That's 100% accurate.
That seems like a really shitty business strategy to me. So there obviously had to have been another motive for that. Are you just trolling people? Are you obsessed with trying to get e-fame? Or are you trying to destroy Crix's business?
Actually, my main motivation is just to see, well-designed products in the hands of retro gamers like you and I.
Yeah, a little fishy. If you have all these findings, how come you never contacted the maker of that Neo Geo cart or even Crix himself?
Well, those Chinese Neo Geo carts, that I really have no interest in contacting their creators. But for the Crix cart, I actually sent him a few emails many years ago, and when I started poking around the 3.3 volt thing, he stopped replying.
All right. Sounds a little fishy, but I guess we'll move on a little bit. So I have to ask, do you have any formal electronics training? I mean, are you even qualified to write articles like that? Because please don't tell me your day job is like a food blogger and you spend all week trotting around Canada in a meat-driven sleigh reviewing poutine from different truck stops or something. You're at least a tech, right?
I'm an electrical engineer.
Oh. So you're actually trained in the field that you wrote the article about?
That's right, yeah. And I can even tell you what my experience is. I spent 4 years designing lithium-ion battery packs for medical and military applications. And then I did radio test and calibration design for Research in Motion, the creators of the BlackBerry, a smartphone that sucks nowadays. But we had good test jigs, and I helped build those.
Okay, smarty pants then. If you're such an expert, will ROM carts actually blow up my console? Because you had a picture of an explosion at the top of that first blog post.
Well, if people who read most of my blog posts will know that I always throw in humor in there, right? It's probably not in good taste, but it's still humor. The ROM carts will not blow up your console. That was definitely not the point of the article. The point of the article was to inform people of a design flaw in multi-carts and flash carts.
So then what exactly will happen to the console? And after whatever this thing happens, can it be repaired, or is that it?
Well, what happens to the console is increased or accelerated wear and tear from exceeding or being too close to the limits of the specifications in some regards.
So it's kind of like somebody that drives their car a little bit too high on the revs than they should have for normal everyday use.
That's actually a pretty good analogy, yeah.
So in actuality, what that means would be that if you're using these ROM carts, you're definitely going to shorten the life of your console. The only question is how long. So you could potentially have a console that has 50 years left in the lifespan, and now you only have 49 years left, which is actually kind of fair for the advantages a ROM cart gives you. But, not knowing each scenario, there might actually be a time where it could do damage in 7 or 8 years and not 50.
That's right. There's no real way. There is a real way to test that, but it takes a long time. There's no real test data out there to tell us what exactly are the effects of driving these outside the specifications, right? So I guess the point of my article also is to raise the question: is it worth it to do that when there are feasible electronic methods to avoid these issues?
Okay. So there's nothing that this thing's going to pop. It's not like a fuse that's going to blow that people have to replace. It's not like some physical one piece. It's just the overall lifespan of the console.
Well, it depends what exactly we're talking about. If we're talking about flash cards, then yeah, we're accelerating the wear and tear process. If we're talking about some of the multi-cards that I linked in my article, then there is a very high chance that you will pop some output drivers on some CPUs or RAM chips that are directly interfaced to the bus.
Oh, I'm sorry. So your article wasn't just directly trolling Crix like all of these people on the internet say that you were? You mean there's actually other ROM carts in there that you were comparing them to?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I started with my article with I'm a user of EverDrives, and I own a few of them. I don't use them on a regular basis. I use them sparingly to assess which games I want to purchase. But I think the major flack of my article was directed towards shitty NES multi-carts. Those are the ones that I specifically said you should burn.
Yeah, I didn't
again.
actually read either article, just like every other YouTuber that's been talking about this, so if you say so, that's fine as well. So basically, with the exception of the ones that I think most people over the years have at least known that they're not safe, like the Neo Geo one, which is kind of notorious, and some of those NES ones, just general ROM carts, more specifically, I guess, the Crix ones, aren't something people have to worry about. Is it... especially when you have some of the more, I don't want to say generic, but easily available consoles like Genesis or Super Nintendo. You can get those very cheap, and, there's millions and millions of them. So that's probably not something that should be number one on people's concerned list for things like that, right?
No, and it depends the level of OCD that the collector is worried about, right? If someone wants to keep his console in a pristine mint condition all the time, then maybe he should be worried about increased wear and tear on his console. If you're just kind of a casual gamer and every time you go to the flea market you see another Model 2 Genesis lying around, then maybe you shouldn't worry as much.
So how's this for a more general analogy then? Is using a ROM cart that's flagged as questionable or potential for problems more or less harmful than using those random third-party power supplies for consoles?
Well, that would depend on the power supply, I guess. I'd have to analyze those power supplies to know exactly what the ramifications of using them are. I'm going to say the chance of the flash card harming a power supply the chance of a flash card harming the console as much as the chance of a bad power supply harming the console is probably lower than the power supply's odds of damaging the console.
Gotcha. So what about people for much rarer consoles like the CDX or Wonder Mega, or things that not only are they rarer but very expensive? Would you say use sparingly or don't use at all, or really it's up to you because it's not something to comment about?
Well, I can't tell people how to use their consoles. If that were the case, if it were the case for me, I probably wouldn't use a flash card in a very rare system. I would be very cautious about that. Not because I would expect it to damage it or anything, but because I'm probably not going to see one of those again up in northern Canada. So I want to be very careful about keeping it in very good condition and reducing as much as possible the wear and tear on it.
Gotcha. So basically then, people just need to use and exercise caution while using these things, but certainly not freak out then, right?
No, absolutely not. Nobody needs to freak out.
So then, I gotta ask, how does it make you feel that so many trolls have first misinterpreted your article and then spread that misinformation around the internet, leading to, crazy things popping up here and there?
Well, the part I don't like is I sincerely feel I did not attack anyone personally in any of my blog posts ever. Well, except for maybe, well, there might be one blog post where we need to figure it out. But aside from that, I think I didn't attack anyone, right? And then I feel like some people are truly attacking me because they're not happy with the content of my article. That's probably the only thing that kind of bugs me a bit. But I mean, who cares? I got thick skin.
So, my personal annoyance in this, I obviously have thick skin as well, and I'm used to this stuff. And the people spreading misinformation's annoying. The people blindly taking sides just because maybe they're mad. They might have spent money on something that isn't as perfect as they thought. But the thing that really gets me is when people take the misinformation and try to use it for their own personal gain, like all of these YouTube e-fame whores that have used your article as clickbait, saying things like ROM carts will destroy your consoles. And that sellout behavior is really what pisses me off, because you, me, the other guys in the round table, and a lot of other people are working our asses off trying to get good content out there for retro gamers. And these assholes are just posting top 10 hidden gem clickbait shit just to be able to do whatever it is that they do. I don't know. But you know what? Fuck it. Just despite those assholes, let's beat them at their own game and title this video, Top 10 Reasons a ROM Cart Will Destroy Your Underrated Hidden Gem of a Game Console, and see who gets the joke. I guarantee that all the awesome people in the retro community will totally get the joke, and I think the only people that won't are the clickbait YouTubers. They're probably the only ones that are going to get offended by this. So, fuck it. Let's stick it to them.
Let's go fishing.
All right. So before we go, I just want to do one last demonstration of exactly what's going to happen when you plug your ROM cart and turn on your console.